I literally looked up to the ceiling. God, what can I do? All of a sudden, it just kind of stopped, and I felt something just kind of come forward and say, write one for me. And I was like, you? Are you sure? I'm Baylee Littrell, and this is my CCM Spotlight. I am a singer-songwriter. I've been really doing this for a long time, in a way, kind of my whole life. I started super young, but I got my first really, big taste of the business at 13. I was on Broadway in New York for about 6 or 7 months. During that time, I kind of realized that I wanted to follow in my dad's footsteps, go into music. And for those of you that don't know, my dad is Brian Littrell from the Backstreet Boys. More importantly to me, he's dad. So it's super cool to be able to have that experience of growing up and seeing your parent and your idol kind of do what you want to do in life. And he's my bus driver. He's my roadie, mom's manager, and she even does some tech stuff for the sound guys, including dad. So it's perfect. But yeah, my parents have been with me every step of the way. After Broadway, I started just taking up, trips to Nashville and doing what I could here and playing everywhere you could think of and going on tours. I got to tour with my dad's band a little bit. I got to tour with Chris Lane a little bit. It was a cool experience. It got, my feet wet in the business, but then, I had a lot to learn. I had the chance to go on American Idol and audition, and to tell you the truth, I was absolutely terrified. I had no idea what was going to come of it, and I was nervous to get up there and sing, but I thought if I was going to do this, I had to, play original songs and try to be my own person. And I was kind of discouraged from doing that. Everyone said, are you sure you want to do this? You sure you want to play original songs? And, everyone says, play it safe. What if your song isn't good? And you're like, it might not be, but we're going to find out. We're going to see what people say. And that was really kind of that moment. I thought, I don't want to come in here and play it safe. This was the big risk. It ended up paying off for that first round. And when it was time to get to Hollywood Week in Los Angeles, the opportunity kind of arose again to do another original. And I was thinking to myself, what do I do? What song do I pick? And my mom actually suggested, she said, how about Hey Jesus, which was this song that I had written years before that. And I said, I don't know. I'm afraid it's, it might ruffle some feathers. And she said, ruffle them. She's like, this is your chance. You want to say what you want to say, don't you? And I said, yeah. And she said, well, say what you want to say. So I went out there as nervous as I could be and sang my original song. A lot of people think that song is about my grandmother. It was really about my testimony to God and finding religion in a place of sorrow and defeat. So in a way, losing my grandmother played a huge role in it. But that was the first person I lost in my life that was immediate family that I pretty much saw every day. And when I lost her, I was aware of our mortality for the first time. It was so close to us. And losing her definitely took a toll on my faith, my confidence, who I was lost. And I doubted and questioned everything. And I'd never been in that situation in my whole life. I grew up in, a faith-based household. So this was completely out of the box for me to be going through something like this. And I questioned everything. I literally looked up to the ceiling, and which is painted like a sky in my parents' house. And I said, God, what can I do to believe? What can I do to, please show me the way? And I was sitting there writing a song, and all of a sudden it just kind of stopped, and I felt something just kind of come forward and say, write one for me. And I was like, you? Are you sure? Can I don't know how to do that. And immediately it was as if the words were given to me. And it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life to sit there and write this testimony, my personal testimony to Jesus. And I just remember kind of sitting there, this song coming together in 10 to 15 minutes, and I was in utter disbelief. I'm just sitting there and I'm like, the sun is beaming through this room, and I'm like, wow. Changed everything. Played it for my parents. I didn't know what they were gonna think, and they just kind of sat there, and we all sat there and just had a moment. Fast forward 2 years, I get the chance to do it on American Idol, and I was terrified, but there was something about going up there with that song that I settled into. My hands were trembling. I picked up my guitar, and I was shaking. They don't let you know when you're gonna go, so it's at random. And I was nervous as could be, and all of a sudden I just felt the calm. Being able to play Hey Jesus for people was one of the most impactful moments of my life. I never expected what was to come. I never expected the outreach or the sense of pride that I would feel from this, the sense of joy. And it was so fulfilling. It's amazing to see people's testimonies when they come to shows. I played a songwriters festival in Florida about 2 years ago, and I played Hey Jesus. And that was one of the first times I played it live. I was super nervous. And this man walked up to me after the show was over, and he said, I just want you to know, he's like, that song just made me want to find Jesus. He was like, I'm not religious. And I was like, are you serious? And he said yes. He said, I'm pretty much done. He's like, I'm done with life. I'm done with everything that comes with it. And he's like, and you just helped me want to start over. And it was one of those moments where it was like, okay, Hey Jesus is coming out. If this has this effect on this man, that's all I can ask for. If it's one person or it's a million, the fact that it changed his life in some way, again, made it, a necessity that had to be put out to the world. I feel that's my goal, is to blend all genres, and I love music so deeply that it's so hard to see one lane and pick it and go for it. I'm torn all the time. I'm, 1 week I'm gonna make this record, and 1 week I'm gonna make this record. I'm like, why can't I just make all of them at the same time? And so that's always been kind of my battle with music, is loving too many different types of genres, but trying to make them work. And that's probably still gonna be my trajectory for the future. But now being able to bring gospel music into it is something I've always wanted to, think about. I never thought or had the confidence to try up until this point. Seeing my dad's Christian record, I remember that early on growing up. I remember him filming music videos or in the studio, and now I feel like, again, that's our biggest accomplishment, is to be able to do something like that. And talk about following in your dad's footsteps. That to me is like where our legacy lies. And I think we're at a point in the world today where we need God more than ever, and we have such an amount of disbelief and distress. And so I think Christian music isn't Christian music, it's music. It's a word that needs to be spread. It's a story that needs to be told. And so whatever that, comes with that, if it changes the trajectory of my career, it's not for me, it's for the word. And so it's kind of where I'm going with it. We're seeing people of the world become less of the world. And that's kind of the separation that is so amazing to see, and that I'm partaking in myself. And it's kind of reorganizing your priorities, realizing what's important and what comes first, and then what comes second. So to see these guys kind of lay down their swords for God and come to a point where they can kind of let go of what they're doing right now and drop it and create something new. This is the best way to do these things. Their audience is of the masses. It's of people who, aren't always Christian. It's a lot of non-believers as well. This is getting that message out to them. So to me, Brandon Lake kind of bringing Jelly Roll into that world and seeing it firsthand as well on Idol kind of change him and how he looked at things. It was pretty incredible. Next steps is definitely, album in the works, hopefully another single in December or January, and then by spring, summertime, have an album ready to go. Thanks for watching my CCM Spotlight. You guys can find me on BayleeLittrell.com, Instagram, TikTok, Apple Music, and Spotify.